Hey everybody, welcome to that vinyl channel. I'm that vinyl guy Boz. So a couple weeks ago I went to a used record store. They had a large area of dollar bin records. I picked out a large stack, as you can see right here. Here's all the records that I bought from that store. What I want to do is go ahead and and show you all the records that I bought, share them with you. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first one here, this is by a band called Eurogliders. The band's title is Absolutely. This is a Australian band that formed in 1980, and this here is a 1986 release. They're considered pop rock, and I had never heard them before, but I was intrigued by the cover. I hope it's going to be good, but there you go. That's my first one that I picked up. Okay, the next one I picked up here is some easy listening jazz. This is Brook Benton. This was released in 1959. Brook Benton is known for gospel, rhythm and blues, and jazz, and I think some blues as well, but this one here is considered an easy listening jazz album. So I've been getting more and more into jazz. I figured this would be a great addition to my jazz collection. Alright, another one here. This is Any Trouble. This is a band it's a British band, and it's from a radio station. Somebody actually wrote a catalog number here, an internal catalog number, as well as the call letters for the radio station, WRUR, wherever that is. This album was released in 1983. It's another pop rock band. I'm not really, again, another band I'm not sure about. I believe this is a self-titled album. So there you go. Any Trouble. Next one here is Frankie and the Knockouts. The album's title is Below the Belt. This is a band that was formed in the 1980s. It's an American rock pop band. This actual release is from 1982. So I know of the band, although I think I might have 145 by them, but I definitely haven't got any albums from them. This is my first album from this group, Frankie and the Knockouts. Okay, the next one here, it's backwards. All right, next one I have here is Louise Joffin. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And she is an American singer-songwriter, mainly pop rock stuff. This is her third studio album that was released in 1988. And so I'm really interested in hearing what this sounds like. So there we go, Louise Joffin. Okay, and the next one is an album that's not from me. Now I already own this. I have about 4, I think, or 5 of their records. It's a band that I was introduced to by picking up one of these in a dollar bin. This here is Louisiana's LaRue. They're a southern rock band out of Louisiana. They changed their name to just LaRue not soon after this album was released. This is their debut album from 1978. I got this one for a friend of mine. I know he watches my channel, Jason. So Jason, this here is the record I got for you. But this is a great band. Again, it's southern rock. This earlier stuff is a little bit more raw than their stuff from the 80s, which gets a little bit more refined, but it's still pretty good. And I picked this up for you, so next time I see you, I'm gonna give it to you. Okay, and the next one here, if I can stop picking them up backwards. This is a band called Puzzle. This album is from 1973. They put out about 5 or 6 albums. It is on the Motown label. I think it's down here, a Motown label. This is a jazz fusion band. When I very first heard them, I thought they sounded a lot like Chicago, and but they're pretty good. And I think I only have 1 or 2 45s by them, so this would be the first album I have. This is Puzzle. I'll show you the back. There you go. This is Puzzle from 1973. Okay, the next one here is something interesting. I'm a big collector of KTell albums and Ronco albums and things like that, those compilation albums. And so this here looked to be something like that. This was released in Germany, and it was released in the late 1970s. It has both songs in English, like Fly Robin Fly, and it has songs in German as well. But it's a pretty cool looking cover. It was actually pressed, produced, and released in Germany, which is pretty cool. So I couldn't find out exactly when it was released, but based on some of the songs on here, I'm going to say around 78 or 77, 78, maybe 79 is when this was released. But it is a compilation album, mostly disco songs. The name of the album is 20 Spitzen Schlager Hits. So don't speak German, so I'm not really sure what exactly that means, but there you go. All right, and next is Wild Cherry. This is a disco group, American disco group from, I'm not sure exactly when they were formed, but this is their debut album. This is from 1976. It has one of their biggest hits on it, which is Play That Funky Music. I do like disco. It is like a guilty pleasure for me, but cool stuff here. So there you go. This is Wild Cherry from 1976. Okay, so another addition to my slowly growing jazz collection. So this here is Tough Saxes and Twangy Guitars. This is an instrumental cool jazz album from 1964. And so I do have a couple other albums similar to this, and they're really good. So I suspect this one also be good. It's kind of cool to find it for $1. So there you go. Okay, and the next one here is Robert Klein, New Teeth. He is an actor, comedian. This is a stand-up routine album, and this is from 1975. I'm really big into comedy and novelty and these kind of stand-up comedy albums. So, but there you go. This here is Robert Klein. Okay, and the next here is going to be Lee Clayton. So I wasn't sure exactly what this was, but I figured for $1, go ahead and pick it up and find out. The name of the album is Naked Child. It is on the Capitol label. This is a country rock album from 1979. I've already played a couple of his tracks off of this on YouTube, and it sounds really good. So I'm really excited about getting this on the turntable and hearing what it sounds like. All right, and the next one here is an American rock band formed in 1981. This is Scandal. They're best known for the 1984 hit The Warrior. This one actually came out in 1982, and I do like The Warrior a lot, so I suspect that I'm going to like this record as well. And for $1, why not go ahead and pick it up and give it a listen. So there we go. That's Scandal. The name of the album is called You've Got a Love's Got a Line on You. So there you go. That's Scandal. Love's Got a Line on You. All right, and the next one here is something I had never seen before. This is Turned on Broadway. When I initially saw this, I thought of Hooked on Classics, which is kind of like a disco take on some of the Beethoven songs. I thought this might be like that. It is kind of. This is actually a Latin jazz take on some Broadway hits. So again, slowly getting into jazz, and it just so happens another jazz album. So that's great. And so this here is Turned on Broadway. This was released in 1982. Okay, and the next here is Hermans Hermits. This is both sides of Hermans Hermits. I believe this is their 4th studio album release in the U.S. This is a U.S. pressing. I do know that the UK pressing has a different track listing on it than the U.S. pressing does. It has a pretty cool looking back cover here, or back of the cover. And I do like Hermans Hermits. They are best known for their song I'm Henry VIII I Am. And but my mom also had one of their albums when I was growing up. So right now I don't have anything by them other than some 45s. So I went ahead and picked this up. It was just $1. So this is both sides of Hermans Hermits. All right, and next we have some CCR. This is Cosmos Factory. This was released in 1970. It was produced by John Fogerty. It has some really great singles off this, including I Heard It Through the Grapevine, which is probably one of my all-time favorite songs by CCR. So I didn't already have this, although I do have several CCR albums in my collection. I didn't have this. And for $1, can't go wrong, right? So there we go. This is Cosmos Factory CCR. Okay, so I am a Neil Diamond fan. I hope that doesn't reduce my standing in the vinyl community. It'll just between you and I, right? But I do like Neil Diamond a lot, and that's my mom's influence on me. This here is actually one of his newer releases he put out. This is from 1986. I do have the title track on a 45 on this, which is Headed for the Future, which is a really great song. So I figured for $1, I don't have this album, for $1, go ahead and pick it up. And so there we go. This is Neil Diamond, Headed for the Future. All right, so this here is another KTell album. I do like KTell a lot. I have a pretty big collection of KTell albums. One of these days I'll sit down and just show you all my KTell albums. I really liked them a lot from it's from my childhood in the 70s, watching TV a lot and the commercials, and they always be showing these albums that had all these great songs that I heard on the radio. I thought it'd be so great just to have just one of these records and have all these songs. And so when I got old enough, I started buying KTell albums, and I've always bought them. So but this is one that I didn't have. It's pretty cool. This is the best of today's great love songs, Love Is. So this came out in 1981. This has a bunch of soft rock classics. So let me see here. It has some Quincy Jones, some Air Supply, Paul Davis, Dottie West, Charlene, Never Been to Me. That's some pretty cool stuff. And of course, for $1, you're always taking a risk on these. It didn't even have a sleeve on the inside, a white sleeve. Sometimes I stay clear of records like that, but for a KTell, I give it a chance. But the album actually looked really, really nice. I really couldn't tell anything wrong with this, although it's hard to tell by looking at it. But I'm hoping that when I clean it up, it's going to sound good. Okay, so next we're moving to a rock band. I forgot to look up if it was American or Canadian. I think this is a Canadian rock band, actually. If I'm wrong, please go ahead and let me know in the comments. But I think this is Canadian. I have a couple of their albums, and this one here is one that I actually already have. I bought this about 6 months ago from another dollar bin here in town. And actually, the cover is in a lot better shape than this one. The cover is actually in extremely good shape. But when I played the record, there was a skip on the first side and a skip on the second side, which is annoying. I tried to clean the record. I tried to address the skips. The skips are still there, no matter what I can do. I just can't get rid of them. So I figured, I found this one in this dollar bin, and the record looks pretty clean. You can only look so well in a store. But I'm hoping that this one here is going to sound better. It's not going to have any skips in it. And what I end up doing is take this record and put it with that sleeve. And I have one great record. So, but anyways, this is Heading for a Storm. And the name of did I say the name of the group? The name of the group is Vandenberg. They're a really great band. And yeah, I'm just hoping that I'm going to end up with one really good record. Okay, so I picked up another one of these compilation albums. Now, you can't tell from up here. It has the UNICEF. I believe this is UNICEF logo is up here, but it says down here a KTell product. So this is definitely a KTell produced album. But this here is 20 Top Star Festival Dynamic Hits Volume 2. So this came out in 1983. And it has a lot of songs. Actually, it has a lot of songs from the late 70s, even though it came out in 1983. It has a Three Dog Night on it, Aretha Franklin, Gary Puckett, Bread, Joan Baez, the Osmond, the Guess Who, and stuff like that. But again, this one at least had a sleeve on the inside, but it looked in pretty good shape. And pretty good stuff. Another album to go ahead and add to my KTell collection. All right, and the next one here is a children's record. So this one here is by Pickwick, and this is called the Pickwick Children's Chorus and Musical Friends. This is songs from Sesame Street and the Archies and Bozo the Clown and Puff and Stuff. So shows from the late 60s and the early to mid 70s. And so pretty cool. This is again on the Pickwick label. Pickwick has their own like house band, and they reproduce songs. That's what they do. That's what most of these Pickwick releases are. But it's really good stuff though. So there you go. This is the Pickwick and the Children's Chorus and Musical Friends. All right, next we have Ringo Starr. I do have several Ringo Starr records in my collection. I don't have this one, and for $1, why not go and pick it up? The records seem to be in pretty good shape. I'm hoping it's going to sound good. This one here, the name of this album is just Ringo. Again, it was released in 1973. One of the biggest hits off this is You're 16. This is an original pressing. It does come with a booklet. So the booklet is intact. It's in pretty good shape. And it is a gatefold. So I'll go ahead and show you what that sounds like. Oh, what that looks like, excuse me. So there you go. So, and that's what the back of this looks like. The cover is in really tattered shape. But again, the record looked pretty good, and I'm more worried about the condition of the record than I am the cover. So again, this is Ringo from 1973. All right, so next we have Classics 4. This is Traces. This is an original release from 1969. So they're a band that formed in 1965 out of Jacksonville, Florida. They're probably best known for their cover of a song called Spooky. A lot of people don't know that it's a cover. Originally, that song was put out in, I believe, in 1967. It was an instrumental. They took the song and they added lyrics to it. I don't think I have any LPs by them. I think I just have some 45s. So this would be the first LP of theirs that add to my collection. But again, this is Classics 4 Traces from 1969. And last but not least, this here was an interesting find. I almost didn't pick this up because I really didn't know what it was, but it definitely seemed interesting to me. I'll give you a peek at the back of this. So when I got home, the first thing I did was, even though I had this stack of records here, first thing when I got home is I looked this one up and to figure out what this is. So back in the early 80s, this was a bar and a billiards a place to play, to play pool, and they were having problems financially, so they decided to start having live concerts from local bands, sometimes from national bands. And they started hosting these concerts, and it really picked up business, and it worked. And they really became known for for the live bands. And this one here was released. This record was released in 1987, and it's just a bunch of the concerts that over the years that actually they had in this bar. So. So it's pretty. So this is the only one of all these that I've already played, and it sounds pretty good. But for $1, can't go wrong. It was minty. It was in really great shape. But there you go. This is called At Diane's Place. All right, so that's all I have for you. If you're in a record store and they have a dollar bin, just flip through, look at everything they have. If something that's questionable, take it home. If you don't like it, you're only out $1. So it's a great way to get introduced to new bands. I have lots of bands, including like the Fabulous Poodles, and that's the only one that comes to mind right now. But several bands. Oh yeah, I showed you the LaRue, the Louisiana's LaRue. It's another one that I got introduced by picking up a record in a dollar bin. So it's definitely a way to get introduced to new bands, and which is not a bad thing. So I do want to thank everybody for joining me today, and I'll see y'all next time. If you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and tap on the subscribe button, which is right up here, and don't forget to check out what I have up here for you. And but I do want to thank everybody again, and keep on spinning, and I'll see you next time.